Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. We are talking all things European Championships as the build-up, the anticipation, the intrigue to kick off grows ever closer. And we're going to begin by talking about the group stages. And in this video, we're basically going to be talking about each group. We're going to be predicting who qualifies to the knockout stages. But before we go any further, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. But for now, let's get back to talking about the European Championships for 2021 and the group stages. Okay, first things first. Obviously, you wouldn't have first things fourth. But we're going to begin with, of course, Group A, Group Alpha, whatever you want to call it. Group A consists of Italy, Switzerland, Turkey, and Wales. Now, as far as the initial qualifying stage goes, Italy, on paper, at least should qualify. They should be the team to top this group and top the group fairly comfortably, you would imagine. From there on, Italy could be a fairly decent shout or a fairly decent dark horse prospect to go on and actually win this whole tournament. They certainly have the squad to do it, but whether they will do it or not, given the other teams and their competition around them, particularly as we get into the knockout stages, obviously remains to be seen. But in terms of how the rest of the group will go, Switzerland should finish second. They certainly have a team that is full of more quality than the other two. Wales in a bit of chaos right now, but who knows? Maybe they, in the last Euros, they definitely turned a few heads and surprised a few people. Maybe they could qualify. There's also, like I say, Turkey in there as well. It is a real toss-up between them three teams. I feel like Switzerland would definitely qualify automatically. And for the other two, it's a toss-up of third place because, of course, as you know, the format in this competition is that the four best third place teams out of the 6 groups will qualify. Yeah, it's a stupid format. Like, it is very, very annoying format. I personally, on a side note, don't agree with that style of format. It makes the Euros a little boring, or it certainly did in my opinion when they did this in the Euro 2016 tournament 5 years ago. It just means that teams are more inclined to play for draws rather than go for wins in order to qualify further or whatever. But that's just me. Group B contains Belgium, Russia, Denmark, and Finland. Belgium have arguably one of the more favourable groups out of the entirety of the big nations. And I'm sure that they'll be looking to sail through to the knockout stages by topping this group fairly comfortably. From there, Russia and Denmark, you feel, will be jostling for second and third, whilst Finland could sneak into third place. Maybe if they're smart enough about it, they possibly could qualify through the third place gateway. But I don't see that happening as much as Russia and Denmark finishing above them. And then, of course, from there, you just have to see if the third place finish actually does qualify. But no, Belgium and I'm gonna say Russia. I think they'll just sneak it. Group C has Ukraine, Netherlands, Austria, and North Macedonia. Netherlands obviously dealt a big blow before the tournament's even kicked off by not having Virgil van Dijk in the squad, but they still could be a team to watch out for in this competition the later it progresses. Remember, the Euros have produced some unlikely winners in the past. I don't think too many people have backed Portugal in the last European Championships back in 2016. And I don't think anybody backed Greece to win this competition back in 2004. So this competition has thrown up a few surprises along the way. But regardless, Netherlands should top this group. You look at it on paper and you think that even without arguably the best defender in the world, Netherlands definitely have the squad to go and secure top spot in this group and put themselves in a good standing position going into the knockout stages. From there, it's a toss-up again between Ukraine and Austria. They should be left to fight for second and third, you feel, which will be interesting because, you know, they're two pretty good nations. They've got some decent players in there. They've got some potential to obviously progress to the knockout stages. We just have to see how that one turns out. But as for Macedonia, they just seem to be there to make up the numbers. So Group C should be fairly predictable in terms of who finishes top and bottom, but then it's the middle two that are jostling for position on that one. Group D is of course England's group, and they will be facing the likes of Czech Republic, Croatia and Scotland. They'll have them teams to contend with. Gareth Southgate's side are arguably one of the favourites, and definitely one of the bookies' favourites to go on and win this competition. And for the very least, they should have no problem in topping this group, you feel. They should be sailing through this group fairly comfortably, while second and possibly third are very much open and up for grabs. You feel like they could go anywhere. This entire group is like a bit of a group of death, you feel, because any of these three other teams could be challenging for second, third and fourth. Croatia aren't the side that they were a few years ago during the World Cup. Scotland have some hard-working players and have actually beaten the Czech Republic in their last two meetings at the end of last year, whilst the Czechs themselves are very hit and miss. So it's kind of up in the air on this one. I would suspect that Croatia possibly sneak it, but don't count Scotland out before the ball is even kicked, because they definitely could surprise a few people, or they could of course qualify through finishing third. Group E features Spain, Poland, Sweden and Slovakia. The announcement of the Spanish squad threw up some eyebrows, with no Real Madrid players within that 26-man squad when it was announced. Not even club captain and experienced defender Sergio Ramos made it into that final squad. But despite that, it's a very strong Spanish lineup with plenty of quality and plenty of depth, particularly in the midfield area, and a very notorious strong point and strong piece of their arsenal for the Spanish side. They should tiki-taka their way through to the knockout stages, and from there, Poland, with Robin Lewandowski captaining the side and leading the front line, then should be runners-up in this group, and then Sweden and Slovakia should be left to contest third into a possible gateway into the round of 16 stage. Like I say, Spain and Poland for me qualify automatically. Third place, we'll see. And finally, and arguably, we saved the best till last, because Group F is, of course, the big group. It is the group of death if there ever was one. France, Germany, Portugal and Hungary are all in this group, and it is arguably three big nations, three are of the arguably favourites to go on and win this competition, you feel, that are right off the bat thrown into this group, into the group stages, having all three of them big nations in this one group. All arguably, like I say, could be favourites to go on to win this competition. France, coming off the back of their World Cup success back in 2018, will want to continue their dominance on the international level. Germany will want to rectify their horror display in that same major tournament, so get knocked out in the group stages. And of course, Portugal, who will want to defend their European crown that they won back in 2016. It's likely that all three could qualify, like I've said, through the third place kind of ruling. But of course, that isn't exactly a given how these teams will have to obviously face each other, and it could throw up some very interesting results along the way. It does kind of throw it more into the unknown. I just personally feel sorry for Hungary, who have been thrown into this horrible group, this horrible scenario, and are seemingly only there to make up the numbers by finishing rock bottom of the group, it seems. But of course, as I always say, these are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. I will be doing more stuff on the Euros in preparation for the build-up next week, and I'll also be doing some stuff across the Euros as well. But I'd love to know your thoughts, comments and opinions on the upcoming European Championships, and obviously on the group stages that I've been talking about in this video, down below in the comment section. I'm sure they'll all make for interesting reading. Otherwise, hit that like button on the way if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch, this has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see you all again soon in another video.